Permaculture is both a practice and a philosophy. As a practice, permaculture is a system of agriculture that implements a key set of design principles. As a philosophy, permaculture is about supporting the earth and humanity. This means establishing environments that are highly productive and stable. These environments are intended to provide food, shelter, and energy, and to support environmental, social, and economic infrastructure and sustainability. Permaculture stresses both a positive approach and an attitude of cooperation with respect to both the environment and all living things. It's defined around three key areas. First, care of the earth. Second, care of people. And third, give away surplus. These principles are brought together in the life ethic, the belief that all living organisms are not only means but ends. The life ethic recognises that in addition to their instrumental value to humans and other living organisms, living things have an intrinsic worth in themselves. Permaculture landscapes can be large or small, anywhere from farms and orchards to home gardens and public parks. The common factor is that they use permaculture design principles, which bring together many components. These components may include soil, plants, animals, buildings, paths, and ponds. Implementing permaculture design takes time and planning. To be effective, you must make smart decisions about what components to include in the landscape and where to locate each of those components. Permaculture principles are the criteria which guide decisions about what components to include and where to locate them. These principles were set down originally by the founders of permaculture and still underpin the approach to permaculture design. The first principle is relative location. This refers to placing components in a way that creates a beneficial relationship. This principle recognises that all things are connected. The second principle is multiple functions. This is based on the idea of multitasking. This means that a component performs more than just one function. For example, a tree might produce fruit, but it also might provide shelter and shade. When a design is drawn up, each function is explored individually. Then, to ensure the design achieves a particular function, the designer must first deal with different components influencing the function, then make different and distinct decisions about each component, and finally ensure that the function is supported by several elements. The third principle of permaculture is multiple elements. In permaculture, the term element refers to a component in an overall design. Plants, earth, water, buildings, all of these things are considered elements. A good permaculture design includes many elements. This ensures the design meets the desired function or purpose. Each element should serve many functions. The fourth design principle is elevation planning. Permaculture designs are three-dimensional. They consider length, width, and height of each component. Particular emphasis is given to energy impacts. For example, the three-dimensional characteristics of an element such as a tree or building can affect things such as temperature and light intensity in a microclimate within a permaculture design. The fifth principle of permaculture design is biological resources. Permaculture always aims to use renewable resources in preference to non-renewable. This means a resource such as wood, which can be grown and renewed, is far preferable to using fossil fuels. Permaculture gardens are designed to reproduce biological resources within the system. The sixth principle is energy recycling. Energy use should be minimised and, as far as possible, recycled. To do this, waste energy should be harvested. The system should be designed to optimise collection of energy by plants and animals. Using plants to catch light, produce bulk vegetation, and then rot to provide a store of nutrients, this catches energy. It stores it, and ultimately that energy can be reused within the system. The seventh principle of permaculture is natural succession. This recognises that the permaculture ecosystem constantly changes. Small young trees exist in a light-filled environment, but as they grow, the space below the branches becomes shaded. As conditions change across the seasons and the years, different plants and animal species are encouraged or discouraged. Everything keeps changing. The designer should try and foresee and plan for those changes, certainly as far as possible. The eighth principle is to maximise edges. The edges of two different areas within a system have extra influences. Consider the border between a forest and adjacent grassland. The grass at the edge will at times be shaded and have tree roots growing under it. Grass that's growing further out in the open grassland won't have these influences. There is always greater biodiversity at the edge between two different areas. Overlap between areas means that components of each area affect the edge. This means a good design of an edge is critical. It also means that the potential for success in edges may be greater. The final principle of permaculture is diversity. This means a system should always be designed as a polyculture, or a system where a greater number of species are growing together. This practice ensures greater biological stability and helps control pests, diseases, weeds, and other problems.